Now, many of you already know, or some of you might already know by now, that Morgan Stanley had a price target of around $18.70 on NEO. This was one of the analysts that, of course, their price target was high when comparing to majority of the analysts that gave their price target onto NEO. This is something that was pretty amazing, though today we got to see, of course, the very same Morgan Stanley coming out and, of course, cut price target for both NEO and XPeng, but increase the price target for Leodo. This, of course, Morgan Stanley came out and say is that the entire auto industry in China, they are expecting it to lose over 16% of earnings now in 2024, and also over 11% for the year 2025. They are seeing the Chinese auto chain to, of course, slow down in terms of growth. They are seeing an overall growth for year 2024 of around 18%, which is a 2% decrease from last year's growth. This is something that, of course, they are just turning a bit bearish into the entire automaker. But the good thing from this report is that when they look into the three EV trio, and that is Leodo, XPeng, and NEO, they are forecasting their revenues or their earnings to grow by 78%. This is good news, ladies and gents, because though they are seeing an entire automaker not growing or decreasing in terms of growth when comparing to the year 2023, they maintain a 78% growth into the EV trio, that is Leodo, NEO, and XPeng, in terms of their earnings or revenues, which is something that is pretty amazing. Though they came and decreased, of course, their price target from over 18 to 13 from NEO, they are still expecting a 78% growth, and they maintain an overweight rating onto these three EV trios, which is NEO, Leodo, and of course XPeng. So I'm very excited, or I'm still excited when I look into the revenues that they're seeing, or into the earnings that they are still forecasting onto these EV trios, because these then will mean that we are seeing, of course, these car companies continue to grow. They are saying, of course, competition is going to continue to be fierce in 2024, but they still see growth onto the EV trio, which makes me to be really excited. I know price target wise, to see NEO's target being slashed from 18 to 13 is not something we wanted to hear. I mean, XPeng's price target was cut from 25 to 23, whilst Leoto's price target was increased from 53 to 63, which just means that they are more bullish on when they look into Leoto, which is something that is not a trend smash for us who are investing into NEO, because, like I said, revenue-wise, they are still forecasting a 78% increase from this EV trio. I personally think, or I would like to hope to see NEO's share price finishing the year, of course, over $20 per stock, because, ladies and gents, this is a company that continues to show growth, because you will know that sales wise, when you look into their car, they saw, of course, or that 160,000 vehicles which they delivered in 2023 represented a 30% or over 30% increase year over year, which is something that is, of course, commendable, and something that makes me to be really excited to know that big analysts or big financial institutions like Morgan Stanley came out and said that this year they are foreseeing revenues growing by 78%, which to me, I like that. I will take that, though they cut their price target, but the fact that they are still seeing growth into this NEO, or into NEO, makes me to be really excited. I'm happy about that. And I know to some others the price cuts might not be taken that well, which also to me, I'm surprised why they cut price target, but see 78% of revenue growth onto all these companies. I mean, with NEO earnings, I personally believe that they will become better and better, especially knowing that you will know that NEO has cut 10% of their staff. NEO, in the first half of this year, they are licensed with, of course, Jack, who they produce their cars with, is going to expire for the F1 factory, for their F1 factory, which then will mean that, or will result into NEO manufacturing their own cars from that F1 factory. F2, it is expected to expire, or their contract with Jack is expected to expire early 2025, which then that again, when it expires, it means that NIO will also be, of course, producing their own cars, which will make them, of course, retain some money or some good revenues from that. Like I said, also with the 10% job cuts is going to increase or make NIO to retain some good money. So when we look into the earnings which they will report this year, so I'm very excited about the, of course, report which was, of course, published just now, coming from Morgan Stanley, who indicated that they are seeing a 78% growth onto the EV trio, or onto a company like NIO, which, should we get to that, or should we get NIO growing by that much, I think it's pretty good, it's amazing, it's a good sign. But one thing that so many people are waiting for, I think now it's almost all the new investor, because like last night I was attending a NIO space where all the discussion was around people can't just wait for NIO to start with the deliveries of their sub brand, namely Alps and Firefly. They can't wait for that, because that is the hope that will revive NIO's delivery by a big margin, which is something that I think once we get to those brands that are targeting the mass market, then we will get NIO easily delivering good deliveries because of the mass market. Because for the NIO, we know that the target is 230,000 deliveries, of course, which of course excludes the sub brands. But once the sub brand starts selling, I think we can get, like I said in yesterday's video, plus minus 250,000 vehicles for this year, which it will be great to see NIO produce that. Otherwise, with NIO, you will know that not only do they generate their monies from selling cars, but they've got NIO Lifestyle, they've got battery swapping stations, they've got all this technology that, of course, their users pay a subscription fee to enjoy the benefits, or to enjoy the convenience that they get when they are driving a NIO car. So I think that the of course, EV sales of NIO this year, it will grow pretty good, especially knowing that NIO has started partnering with, of course, external or other big automakers like Geely and Changan, which we all know that those partnerships are specifically for battery swapping station. Those companies' vehicles will be utilizing the NIO's battery swapping station, which they will have to pay NIO for doing that, which that will result in NIO non-EV sales or revenues also growing. So I'm very excited about all these things that we expect to see from NIO, and to get to read this article from Morgan Stanley, who indicated a 78% increase of revenue expectation from companies like NIO, makes me to be really excited, because though they are, of course, decreasing or showing that earnings on the overall industry in China, they are still seeing, of course, the EV trio doing really well in terms of earnings, which is something that is pretty amazing. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I'd just give you this quick update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the likes button, comment, and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell, so that at least to get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And before you buy NIO for the very first time, it is always good that you do your own due diligence, so that at least you can be comfortable as you are investing onto this stock. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.